Hey everyone, welcome to the Decentralized Masters podcast, your go-to source for everything decentralized finance. I am John and I am here joining very shortly with Shabam. He is having some technical difficulties. That's kind of the problem we get into this digital age at times, but this is where you're going to be able to go ahead and catch us with anything related to DeFi, most specifically strategy, every week here on every Thursday, right here on the Decentralized Masters channel. We go live 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Thursday. So every week, bringing you the latest highlights and updates of the markets. So go ahead and make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Definitely, if you are watching this live on the stream, go ahead and comment. We definitely want you to be participating. But in the meantime, as we have Shabam, we're waiting for Shabam to go ahead and join with the technical difficulties that he's having. We are going to go ahead and do some quick market analysis and look at what has been going on with the market, what we could be expecting moving forward. And we'll go ahead and talk about a few hidden gems that I believe will be doing very, very well very soon. So let me go ahead and share my screen with you. Okay, let me go ahead and share that. Share screen. Okay, so you guys should be good to see this. My screen is up. Hold on. Okay, it looks like Shabam has joined us now. He should be showing up very, very shortly here with us. I'm trying to get my screen to show up. Can you guys see my screen? I believe you guys should be able to. Okay, yep, there you go. So screen is up and ready. So let me go ahead and make this bigger for myself. So I want to go ahead and start off as usual with the market updates. I always like to go ahead and take a look at the fear and greed index. So looking at the fear and greed index, we are at extreme greed. Last week we were at greed, and the week prior to that, believe it or not, we were in fear. So it's pretty crazy to see how quick the market could go ahead and change. And I think within that time last week, I believe Bitcoin wasn't even near that $80,000 mark, right? So it's pretty great to see this kind of volatility that comes in with crypto right now. Seeing Bitcoin at over $89,000, and I believe during the stream that we were talking about potentially seeing a breakout at around $73,000 before we saw that major move. And I wasn't expecting this, to be completely honest. I wasn't expecting to break out this soon. And right now we are looking for Bitcoin to go ahead and create a support. So we're just looking for Bitcoin to create the next foundation before it has its next leg up. The question is Bitcoin going to go ahead and hold this range? I don't think so. I think it would be definitely healthy if we could see a correction down to like $80,000. That doesn't mean it's going to have to happen, but it would definitely look nice if we could do some sort of move like this, or even at least start building support at around $84,000 to $83,000, right? But we definitely do need a correction, at least a healthy pullback, in order for this market to continue to go up. Because you got to keep in mind that during markets like this, when we see these kind of breakouts, it gets very, very risky, especially once we're entering what is called a new price discovery. Bitcoin has never jumped into this range ever. It's already made new all-time highs, right? So in reality, we really don't know how high Bitcoin could go. It could literally go as high as $100,000, next week. Now, not financial advice. I'm not saying it's going to go to not $100,000 by next week, but if you go ahead and see, we just hit $93,000 a few days ago. So anything is really, really possible, but I would definitely like to go ahead and see some sort of area of support for Bitcoin to go ahead and start forming before we go ahead and start seeing the next leg up, maybe approaching towards that $100,000 range. But right now, what causes massive move was obviously the presidential election, right? The presidential election definitely brought a lot of bullishness, but also a lot of short squeeze. So this is some short squeeze action that we were seeing that caused the market to go up very, very quickly. And that's what a lot of people don't understand. So usually when we see these kind of breakouts, it's not only FOMO, it's not only the hype that's causing it, but it's also the fact that there's liquidations that cause such move. So this is a lot of the price action from leverage traders getting liquidated, more than likely the shorts. So anybody that was betting that Bitcoin was going to go down lost a lot of money during this, right? Because they were betting that Bitcoin will go down, and it did the exact opposite. And this is what we call a short squeeze. When there's plenty of people betting that something's going to go down. I just like to use the word betting just to keep it very simple. From shorting, they basically bet that the market's going to go down, and if there's enough buying pressure, enough bullishness, enough people willing to buy, what happens is that they drive the price action up, and these shorts that are betting the market's going to go down, in order for them to close their position, they need to buy at a higher price. So naturally, they would have to go ahead and buy it at a higher price in order to close their positions with stop losses or any of that, which causes the market to go up. And then most people are not aware of this kind of I wouldn't say manipulation, but they're not aware of this kind of activity that goes on in the market. So a lot of people, when they see these breakouts, they quickly think that this is just bullish momentum, but it's really more of a short squeeze with stop losses being triggered with liquidations. And then the rest would be like retail chasing the pump, right? So you could also make some pretty good trades when it comes to having these breakout structures when the market's going in your favor. But this is really just a lot of it's liquidations. A lot of it is short stop losses that were being triggered, which caused the massive momentum, and then enough buying pressure pushing the price action of Bitcoin up even higher. Let me see if Shivam already joined us. He actually did. I'm working on a little bit of a different setup. I'm out in the mountains, so it's not my typical setup. So I usually work with two monitors, so I couldn't see. But yeah, we have Shivam here. Let me go ahead and have Shivam introduce himself, and then we'll go ahead and pick it up where we left off. But yeah, go for it, Shivam. Good to see
Hey
you.
everyone, how's it going, man? Yeah, sorry to join late, technical difficulties, but yeah, just joined a little late and saw your analysis going on. I think you're spot on right now. A week ago, after the elections, we had this massive pump, depending on which tokens. Solana pumped 40%, Bitcoin's around 20 to 30% at new all-time highs. About to breach that psychological level of 100,000. And of course, the meme coins that have done over 100 to 200% 4x's as well out there, DeFi tokens. So yeah, you're spot on. The market's been just pumping. There's a ton of short squeezes as well, especially with Ethereum. I think I saw that there's about 80 million or 80 billion worth of shorts for Ethereum,
Wow.
over 3,000. So that's just insane when it comes to the liquidation heat map. But yeah, glad to be here, and yeah, I'll let you pick back up on the analysis. I think it's great. And I think everyone's hoping for a pullback. It's just, are we going to be blessed with one, or are we just going to
Yeah.
continue that up only sentiment as the fear and greed index starts going towards greed? So
Exactly. Yeah. We talked about this a little bit yesterday on Let's Talk Crypto. For all those that don't know, that is our paid membership group. So if you're definitely interested, go ahead and reach out to our team. There is links in the descriptions, but we talked about this with our private community on Let's Talk Crypto. And we mentioned how what was going on with the market is that during times like this in the market, it's very, very difficult to try to go ahead and buy the exact bottom or the exact top, right? A lot of people were waiting, like for example, my favorite chart to go ahead and show, and this is not a meme coin, right? Sui. Sui has been very, very bullish, and people have been waiting for a pullback. And yeah, good luck on that pullback. The only pullback we saw was back over here, and I think we were streaming that time, Shivam, if I could recall. And the only pullback that Sui really had, if you go ahead and measure that, that was a 30% move. But if you go ahead and see the upside that it went ahead and did back in August before it did that pullback, it did over a 4x. Meaning, if you would have put $10,000 back here back in August 5th, and you would have went ahead and tried to cash out in October, you would have been up over $40,000, right? So you only got a 30% retracement. And a lot of people have been waiting on the sidelines, waiting for a 40, 50% retracement, which from a technical standpoint, as we all know, nothing going up forever is really healthy, right? So we want to see, Bitcoin, we want to see these assets retrace in order for us to get a better entry. But in reality is that during a bull run like this, that entry that we're waiting for might not happen. So what I recommend not financial advice, a strategy that I implement. And we kind of talked about this with Shavam last week, and we'll go ahead and get his input on that. It's dollar cost averaging. If
Yep.
you're very bullish on an asset, yeah, buying Sui at $3, from a technical standpoint, seems really risky because you're in price discovery. It looks like it might be a resistance hitting a wall, but in reality, Sui could literally just go up tomorrow to $6. And
Yeah.
instead of waiting for that 40-50% retracement, let's say you have $1,000, right? You want to throw some money into Sui, you go ahead and throw in like $500 right now, $300, and then as in the next coming days, if you do see like those 5% dips, then you can slowly buy into your position. Or usually what I like to do is that I go ahead and jump into a position, and as is establishing its floor, something like this right here at the bottom, once I see that the floor has been established, or it has at least retraced 30 to 40% of the price action that I was waiting for, that's usually when I get aggressive and I throw, I wouldn't say all in, but that's when I would throw in, like if I had a plan to go in with $4,000, that's where I would go ahead and throw in the 3 grand where I think the absolute bottom is in, right? But in reality, Sui, just like Bitcoin, just like any of these altcoins, Sui could literally just go up to $10 for all we know, maybe $20 without stopping. And a chart that I like to compare that to, just as a reminder, that during bull cycles like this, especially while we're going to be entering what is it called, an altcoin season very soon, is XLM. I like to always showcase this with XLM because if you look at this chart from last cycle that we saw with XLM, we also saw that XLM, very, very interesting, the fact that it was in November as well. But if you go ahead and see XLM right here, XLM bottomed out and then out of nowhere, what seems to be, keep in mind this is on the daily time frame, continue to just go up. And there was very, very slight little retracements in between, and people were just buying those up. And that's usually what we see typically. Looking at this weekly, look at this. This is a weekly on the last cycle on XLM. You literally just see more green than red. And the red ones are the white candlesticks. So you mostly see more green. And that's usually why I would recommend, in my opinion, always dollar cost average, because you just don't know exactly where
Yep.
the top or the bottom is going to be realistically.
Yeah, just to add to that, I think what you mentioned is right. The sweep pullback of 30%, that's honestly a blessing in bull markets, especially if Bitcoin's dumping 10 to 30%. The altcoins are going to bleed maybe even more than 30-40%, and those are typically your conviction. It's conviction time. It's where you either want to buy, add more to your bags, or if you don't have that asset and you're bullish on it, it's an opportunity, especially in a bull market, because typically the last cycle you only get these 10 to 30% pullbacks for BTC maybe once a month if you're lucky.
Yeah.
Because once it does enter this banana zone price discovery, it's really difficult. There is no TA charting. It's all about momentum, right? You're going to
Yep.
continue to set new highs and hope that it comes back and retests maybe a previous low. And if it does, that's that 10-30% pullback typically. And that's where, as in the industry, it's either you have paper hands or diamond hands. And when your tokens are down 40 to 80%, that's either where you need to dollar cost average it more, or go ahead and rotate into a different asset. And that's you think's going to appreciate. But the current market mania is just everything's appreciating so quickly. As soon as they're listed on centralized exchanges like Pepe and Bonk and Whiff yesterday, they pumped up. They had about $40 million in volume as soon as that news broke. So that's just a ton of liquidity coming in, and that's just on Coinbase. As more exchanges are listed, it's going to continue to just grow. So there's just so much liquidity coming in, not only from retail but institutions. Governments are going to start game theories in play essentially, and the ETF inflows as well for Bitcoin. They've already gone over 7 billion right now. It's already the seventh largest asset behind Saudi Aramco as well. So these are just all bullish signs, right? If you're an investor, and you're seeing your investment climb the chart from the bottom almost to the top, that's a good sign, especially when the entire crypto industry market cap is around just shy of 3 trillion, I believe, right now.
Yeah.
While
That's
gold is
insane.
14 trillion. So we that's a long way to go, and it's just global liquidity is rotating in, and it's going to be buckle up time for
Yeah.
sure.
I mean, the stock market's liquid market cap is about 50 trillion.
Jesus.
So really compare that. Imagine what the forex market is. I don't even know what the forex market is, but forex
Yeah.
is the biggest, right? So we're really like, if you really look at it, cryptocurrency overall is like literally just a tiny ant compared to these other markets. So that means there's still a
The
lot of opportunity.
forex the forex market cap is 2.4 quadrillion. That is
Oh,
insane.
imagine that with crypto. What do you think Bitcoin would be at that price, man? That'd be insane. That'd be an insane number.
Yeah, it's over 2.4 trillion in 2022. Yeah, that's insane. I mean, I'm just bullish on the entire crypto market cap getting to this cycle. Of course, not financial advice or anything, but I do think we're going to get over five and somewhere between 10 trillion. That's going to be, doubling up from basically the previous high, which is 3 trillion ish. So, 6, 7 trillion, I think we can certainly do, a 2x.
Yeah,
More than that,
I definitely agree with you. I was actually looking at what is it? Is it others or is it total for the
yep, total.
market cap? And it's actually interesting how I had that. I was looking at some at the charts last time, and I was like, okay, what would make the most sense? And I believe I do have it at my price target was about 6 trillion market cap, and it sounds a little bit unrealistic. But when you actually go ahead and zoom out, 6 trillion is very, very doable. Just like you said,
Yep.
it's about like almost a 2x, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. If we go ahead and measure this, at 6 trillion, that would actually be less than that. It's actually a 1x now. It's roughly about a 1.5x.
Not bad.
So 1.5% for us to go ahead and hit that 6 trillion market cap. And if we actually go ahead and zoom out from what we did last cycle Bitcoin or the market overall was at 107 billion. So from 107 billion all the way up to almost 3 trillion, that almost seemed possibly impossible for a lot of people, but that's relatively from what it looks like from depending on where you measure the bottom, that's roughly about a 23x. It's
Yeah,
20
that's
2000.
insane right there. 23x from here would get us to 50 trillion
Yeah.
ish, like
Do you think that's
that,
possible?
God, I mean, if that's possible this time around, get to that kind of a market cap, man, that would essentially make crypto one of the largest, growing industries, and it would be, a behemoth. It would be around to stay, which I think it already is, given the administration change, the bullishness of that, and but just to have that much liquidity come in, which would most likely have to rotate out of stocks and maybe traditional assets, that would be a huge sign for this industry in terms of growth. And
Yeah.
I think that's possible. There's so much liquidity out there that's slowly going to start realizing that, hey, crypto, blockchain, it is the future more than just meme coins. Tokenizing assets is going to be the way as well in the future. Your house is on chain, so a lot of things will, start to shift. And when that does, we're certainly going to see the no sayers, people that still don't want to buy Bitcoin, even though it's pumping right now, which,
Yeah.
I know a ton of people that still are skeptical. I'm like, okay, you know,
Yeah, I think even if we look at Google Trends, I heard that retail interest has even picked up for Bitcoin. Like, let's go ahead and see if
yeah,
that's valid. But I do want to go ahead and touch up a little bit as I'm searching this. You mentioned meme coins, right? Like crypto is no longer meme coins, but we've noticed something this cycle, right? Something completely
oh yeah,
different that we have never seen in previous cycles, right? Right now, what we're seeing, what seems to be happening, is a meme coin cycle. And the reason why is if we go ahead and take a look at coin market cap, a lot of the top tokens in here, they're meme coins, and back in last cycle, having meme coins or being a meme coin trader was like looked down upon. It was nothing to be excited about or talk about because I feel like meme coin traders were always looked at a little different than your traditional Bitcoin maxis or XRP maxis, right? With that being said, how do you feel about this cycle with the fact that Coinbase just went ahead and listed Pepe. Robinhood went ahead and listed Pepe. Coinbase also went ahead and listed Dog with Hat yesterday. So, like a lot of these meme tokens are now getting listed by Coinbase, one of the biggest exchanges and one of the most strictest exchanges when it comes to
Yep.
actually, having tokens in their exchange. They're very, very picky with what token they have in their exchange. So, like, how do you feel about this? And what do you think is going to be different with that? Because it seems like a whole different demeanor with meme coins have been changing from previous cycle to what we're seeing now. Because a lot of these blockchains, like Solana, is relevant because of meme coins. I feel like Sui has really been picking up because of meme coins. Not saying that it's solely because of meme coins, but I know a lot of like my friends that were Solana meme coin traders that are now pivoting into Sui because Sui is the next chain for meme coins now. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, dude, just to pick up on that, about a year ago is when essentially this entire cycle began from the Pico lows, tried to break out right now, and all the meme coins started trending first, especially on Solana. I mean, of course, Pepe, and the Ethereum one started to move later on around, January, December or so, but the initial tokens that led the market up a year ago to the initial, reaching its previous all-time high or setting a new all-time high were meme coins, and specifically Dog with Hat. I remember the day it launched a year ago, and I faded it, and I still haven't added any too much to my bag. But it's just been absolutely crazy, and I think it's because the traders that were in crypto last cycle, instead of typically you rotate in from a stable coin back into your blue chip on the lows, and they've probably already rotated into some of these blue chips on the lows that they wanted to, specifically Solana. As you know, a lot that ecosystem and community was cultish in the bear market. They didn't get let down by the FTX SBF collapse, and they just continued to build. And then the meme coin started growing on Solana, with Bonk, right? Bonk essentially carried the entire bear market for Solana, and Bonk's breaking out as well. So it's
Yeah,
the meme coins have been a really good sign of not for I don't want to say cultish, but for communities, right?
yeah.
And a cultish community. I say that with quotations around cultish when I say a cultish community, even though cults are communities. But but yeah, the Bonk, meme coins, Pepe with, it's you see all these early users get in, and then you start to see their P&L of $100 as, 6, 7 figures, 8 figures, like Peanut, the squirrel that got murdered, so it's absolutely mania. And the way I see it, it's like going to your corner store and trying to get a lottery ticket. Except if you're able to purchase that lottery ticket before others, and others do decide to purchase that, then you will be a winner instead of, it's a different game. And now the rotation from Solana to Sui certainly has a great DeFi aspect, Turbos and Cetus. They've been just giving away free Sui tokens for this past 6 months. You could have been earning 40, 50% in these liquidity pools, just generating free Sui. And as John showed that chart earlier, it's done a 4x since the Pico lows. So you could have earned free tokens that have appreciated 4x, depending on the size you got into these liquidity pools. And that's what majority of these advanced DeFi and crypto traders are doing. They take these free tokens that they're getting from providing liquidity and then just rotating them into meme coins. It's a free gamble because you're playing with house money at that point. So if
Yeah.
you're coming in to these meme coins, essentially trying to hope for a grand slam when you should, just be trying to get on base and things like that, it's how you get burned. But yeah, all of my normie friends that are coming in right now, they're all in on meme coins over blue chip assets. And
Yeah.
I give them the biggest disclaimer. I'm like, hey, you need to be careful because you bought Taylor Swift's cat coin, you're gonna get burned. I don't even
Yeah.
don't even
What
know
is the
what
catch
the
code, by the way?
yeah, that's what I'm saying. I didn't even know that coin existed. It's on crypto.com apparently. I'm like, okay.
Really? No
Yeah.
way. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
crypto.com
Man.
has an insane amount of meme coins compared to
Yeah.
Coinbase and Kraken. Um, but yeah, once your meme coin gets listed on Coinbase, you are in for a ride because last cycle Shiba Inu got listed on Coinbase, and the Coinbase whales rode that up from like 500 million to 40 billion, as well as the open market of traders indexes. But it's absolutely insane,
When did
right?
it get listed on Coinbase? Do you remember? Do you recall by
I
any chance? Like,
I
was it
don't. It's probably that first candle. This is a
right here in
Coinbase
September?
chart. Yes. So yeah, September 21st. So you can see the open when it opened, and
Oh
He dumped
snap!
and then
It,
just
it
pumped
did
up.
do it did do 13x. That's insane. Like
Yeah.
keep in mind, it was probably up already thousands of percentages.
Yeah, well, this is the Coinbase chart where it launched at, but if you look on Dex Screener, I believe you could probably get an older chart maybe, and it should be up several hundred percent as well. Um,
Yeah, I like looking at the Shiba chart from when it was back then. It's 3 years ago. This one right here, I believe, is this chart right here.
Yep. I see we have a few comments as well. Would love to get your insight on real world asset tokens, especially RXS. Yeah, we can take a look at that after SHIB here. Um,
Is this all the data? Yeah, this is the data back in when SHIB went live. We go as low. I think it was back in July. Yeah, July of
yep.
2021. So this is the chart with SHIB.
Yeah,
So
all the way
like
from that
SHIB
bottom to the
realistically,
top was a
still
several.
hasn't really done the full potential that it. Did I lose you, Shivam?
No, no, I'm still here. I was just watching the chart right here that you're looking at.
Okay. You disconnected. I'm not sure if it was. I'm not sure if it was on my end or your end.
Um, Hopefully not mine. I'm still here.
Awesome, perfect. I guess it was mine. Gene, how's it going, Gene? Hope you're having a good one. Headless as well. RWA tokens. Go for the SHIB, Shivam. Do you want to go ahead and share your screen?
Yeah, let me go ahead and share my screen and we can take a look at
Go for it.
RXS and also in these times, what would be your recommendation for safe liquidity pools? So RXS, let's take a look at that. Let me first open.
Seems like it's a pre-sale token. I'm not too big on pre-sales personally.
Yeah, if it's pre-sale, is it Rex's Finance or do you have the name? I'm not even sure where to actually. Let's go to CoinGecko. I want to find it before I share my
Yeah,
screen
I
because
think it might
it's
be
gonna
Rex's
take forever
finance.
to load.
It's Rex's finance. If you type in just Rex's
Rex's
RXS
Finance.
pre-sale, yeah, it's a pre-sale token. Yeah, for me
Rex's
personally, I'm
Finance.
just not too big on.
Trying
I'm
to get
not too
this to
big on
load.
pre-sales. Pre-sale tokens, I finally
Yeah,
really.
pre-sales. Yeah, you're gonna have to essentially be like have some large capital. You're gonna have to be okay with losing anything on pre-sale. Okay, so let me share. Let's see, present,
Yeah, it is Rex's
share
finance.
screen. Yep, let's take a look. So right here, sharing. So now we're looking at Rex's Finance. Let's see once it loads. I think it's delayed on stream for the sharing.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So yep, so this is Rex's Finance as Healiness was asking in the chat. So yeah, I mean, initially, if you come in here and take a look at Rex's Finance, right? First thing before even anything, I would not connect my wallet. I would want to. First thing is obviously go to their white paper. But just looking at this website, Rex's Finance is a great gateway to the future of asset management. Rex's Finance empowers you to own your own tokens or tokenize virtually any real world assets, real estate to art commodities, intellectual property. So Rex's presale, one Rex's is about 7 cents. Next stage price is 0.008. So they're accepting ETH, USDT. That's interesting. No stable coin, USDC. We can see they got tokens, all this jazz, symbol, and then they got a billion tokens, the contract address, impermanent loss. So let's come on down and go to the white paper. So the first thing I would do, I mean, this is 48 pages. We're not going to have time to review this in this stream, but first thing I would do if you're trying to invest in is I would read through this white paper and see if it, truly sticks to you and you believe in the ethos of this project. They have a legal section. I would certainly read through that as well, and the tokenomics of this token. But a pre-sale, if you're interested, as John mentioned, typically he stays away, so do I. I'd rather just play with my capital in the market and play, maybe on meme coins. But again, if you have capital of 7, 8 figs and you don't mind throwing some in here, a little bit of that for maybe an upgrowth, if this project is legitimate, sure, you certainly could. And you certainly need to be in this entire ecosystem by being in their Discord or Telegram if they have one, and making sure you're up to date with the founders, developers, what they're doing. Because the
Yeah.
last thing, if you're just fading it and hoping the price to go up, you could have just gotten rugged right after you deposited you know um, your stable or the ETH right here. So
The
that's
thing
something
is,
right
though, Shabam, I do want to add to this. Definitely do agree. So like when it comes to a lot of these pre-sales, it's really like a high 50-50, right? This is literally just gambling. If you are going to
there.
go ahead and deposit money, do not connect your wallet, do not have your ledger to this. Don't go ahead and do any of that. Are there pre-sales that you could potentially go ahead and make some money on? Yes, but it's really just gambling money. So just as Shabam mentioned, if you are considering this, go ahead and put like 500, $1,000, 2,000, but just look at it as if you're going to Vegas. That money's gone because with these pre-sales, it's a hit or miss. They could really do very, very well initially. They might pump a 2, 3x, 4x, and then they dump usually 90%. And then there's chances where they just completely rug pull. Now, in this case, I don't think they'll completely rug pull. I could be wrong, but there's a team in crypto, literally a team that just runs these pre-sales, and I'm pretty sure almost
Yeah.
is the same exact team. And I know because I used to be in the content creation space, and it's one company running all these pre-sales, and it's literally just one big company running all these scams. Basically, it's the same company that ran what is it called, Bitlog, or what was that token? You remember that token that was super big that everybody was talking about?
Bitblock. I know there's Blockdag and there's some.
Blockbag. There you go, something like
Yeah,
that.
that one.
Blockbag.
That one also had a pre-sale, and I faded that so hard because the last thing I want to see is a token being showed on my Instagram, and I'm going to purchase that. Or it's
Exactly.
that's basically just marketed for a pump and dump to retail users that haven't been
Exactly.
introduced to the industry. And unfortunately, when you do get into those, you are going to be rugged, and that's a terrible way to be introduced into crypto. It also reminds me of last cycle, Pulse Chain and Hex, they were promoting it with 2000 APR, APY for owning. And now the CEO and founder, Richard Hartz, he's, being investigated by the SEC.
Yeah, I
And
remember
I
that.
believe he's already been arrested. So there's a lot of pre-sale scams out there. I mean, just looking at their contract right here on screen, I noticed that they use Open Zeppelin. Probably want to dive into this a little more, but you can see their GitHub and everything right here. So if you really wanted to, you could verify the address and stuff, but and the audited. But I was
But
certainly
even the audits are BS, man. You know that too. Like,
exactly,
like even
yeah,
the audits, companies pay, like even they're kind of in it. It's kind of like shady. They're kind of in it with
yep.
these audit companies too. They pay these audit companies $10,000 or $5,000, $20,000 just to slap that they got audited. And to them, paying $10,000, $20,000 is not much when they're gonna make millions off of people. Like they already have what, $5 million into this?
Yeah, I mean, and this is just insane the amount that they have. I would be super careful for sure. Oh, it looks like my screen. I forget that it doesn't track your screen when you change your
Yeah,
screen.
we were just looking
Uh,
at the other one.
sorry about that. Let me this is where I was.
Block Dag, yeah, Block Dag. Hey Reem, welcome by the way.
Yep. So essentially, this is what I was showing when I was discussing the contract, and you can see that they have their GitHub. So you would essentially you have all their websites, Twitter, Telegram, etc., in their smart contract, as well as some of these functions that they look like they've pulled from Open Zeppelin that I saw down here.
And what do you look for in this? Like, are you looking for anything in particular, like any locks, or are you really just looking to like
Yeah,
what
typically,
specifically
if
are you
there's some
looking
red
for?
flags, like if there's some transfer that says do not transfer out or anything. But I mean, this is right code. So you certainly want to, try to take this, put it into a code debugger and try to see if there's anything you can catch. Because if their code is just terrible right now, you could probably just drain it. And that's what there's just tons of smart developers out there that probably are going to go through this and see if there's anything they could exploit. But you can see that they did use the Open Zeppelin contracts library, which is sometimes it just depends. It could be an easy way to start out. Of course, no contract security audit submitted, red flag right there.
Wait.
So
What is a Zeppelin? I never heard of the Zeppelin. Is that like a platform where you could go ahead and deploy the code to go ahead and launch a token, or like what exactly is that?
Yep.
Never heard of
So
that.
Open Zeppelin is a really cool website where users can just come in here and start building their own smart contracts. I have an account on here as well. You could just come in and start coding like right here. You could create a token if you wanted to right now and launch it. And if we wanted to, we could make it burnable, pausable, things like that.
Wow.
Essentially, so it's really easy for developers or scammers to come in here and create a contract and then deploy
Okay.
it and maybe do a pre-sale, right? So
Yeah.
you truly have to, look into how you do it. And I remember a year ago, actually, when this initial meme coin mania took off, there's tons of guys just coming onto Open Zeppelin and just creating a basic ERC20 contract and deploying it onto Ethereum and
Wow.
launching those meme coins. So
I never knew about Open Zeppelin. That's interesting. I only knew
yeah,
about like
Open Zeppelin's
Python
really cool.
and things like that, but I never knew about. So this is only for ERC20 then.
Yeah, ERC20, 721, and 115 so far right now. They're not compatible with Solana or
What is 721? Is 721? Is that that's not Binance, is it?
no, that's still Ethereum. It's just a different token. I
Okay.
believe it's like mintable for NFTs,
Okay.
and
Right. Yeah.
transferable as well, things like that. But yeah, I would be careful about access. I don't know much about it, but in terms of real world assets, the leaders certainly. Let me rechange my screen here. If only it could just follow the screens. CoinGecko, we come in here and we can go to the categories. Let's see, where is real world assets?
Hi, Reem. Yeah, the real world asset narrative overall, I think it's a really good thing. The pre-sale one, I'm not too big on, but I do think real world asset is a huge thing. My little gems are like V Chain, not financial advisor on any of the tokens
Yep.
that I'm talking about. V Chain, wasn't as big last cycle, but I kind of talked about this on Let's Talk Crypto that there's going to be some tokens that from previous cycles didn't really do their full potential because they weren't relevant at the moment. And I feel like VeChain was one of them. Like VeChain wasn't really relevant last cycle, but now what is trending is real world assets, which VeChain falls under. VeChain is already partnered with like BMW, H&M, Walmart of China, PWC Bank, I think, or PNC. I don't know. They're already, you can search it up, VeChain partnerships. They're partnered up with a lot of big companies for supply chain management. So VeChain didn't have a really had a decent run last cycle, but I think, in my opinion, VeChain, this might be their time to shine for the real world assets, and it's no one cares about it right now. So that's usually, in my opinion, what you want to look
Yep.
for. You want to look for tokens that no one cares about, and everybody's distracted by the next pre-sale, the next Pepe. Chances of you catching those are going to be very, very slim to low. You could get lucky, but I would recommend, in my opinion, focusing on the tokens that have already been out and have utility. And VeChain has been out for years.
Yeah, exactly. And you want to capture the narrative before it becomes a narrative. Because let me go ahead and change my screen again. And what I mean by that is if you're able to get in on specific narratives before they become the trend, like we look here, we can see that meme coins are up in the past month right now. Like if we look maybe year to date, let's see, it should probably be meme coins in the top 3 as well. I wouldn't be surprised. So real world assets actually is number 1, and then meme coin is number 2. So real world assets are 809%, 8x year to date. So if you take a look at the real world assets, most likely they're going to be, Ondo, Chentai. It looks like Chentai isn't listed on here, checks, but they got Maple, Clearpool, and Mantra. We were just looking at Mantra on, CoinGecko. It was the number 1 for real world assets right now because of how much it's pumped so far in the past few days, 25%. So you can see the market caps are, certainly growing, getting into the billions as well. Um,
I kind of want to ask you something, Shivam. Quick question. So, can you kind of give us a little back through of what this platform is? I think I saw you use this last time. I've never used it myself.
yeah.
It's very very interesting. Can you kind of like walk us through like what it is, how you use it, and how we could go ahead and potentially use this to better identify either trends or tokens?
Yeah, I mean, certainly. So essentially, this is a part of Artemis. They're a company that tracks on-chain metrics and data that's happening right now live between blockchain transactions and in different sectors. So you can see they're tracking AI tokens, Bitcoin, decentralized finance, gold, S&P 500, NASDAQ, Ethereum, meme coins, funds, and smart contract. So it's not just limited to just the crypto, but then they also show you the entire market cap of cryptocurrencies right now, which is up 33% in the last 30 days,
Wow.
which is 769 billion. That is crazy. So we're almost up a full trillion here. I mean,
Insane.
at this rate, we should be at a trillion by the end of the month. But we are getting to that part of the holiday season where
Look at those
people might
fees.
take profits. Yeah, I mean, it's absolutely crazy. The fees, 21 million, depending on the blockchains, transactions. Now, daily active users, it's a great metric, but you kind of have to be skeptical because everyone on this stream that's listening in, we could create 100 burner wallets and go to multiple different chains, and it would still be counted as daily active addresses and active users. So it's kind of a skewed metric, but it's still a good insight to see the activity on specific blockchains. And sometimes, if you want to truly dive in deeper, you can see if there's actually wash trading from like one user with 1,000 wallets or a bot, things like that. But
Really
overall, it's still
nice.
a good metric
Is this
to
a
have.
paid?
But
Is this a paid platform?
no, Artemis is free right here. I'm just not signed in. You can just come in and see the data and information they have. But I particularly like just coming here to their homepage and seeing the sector performance and just changing it
Mhm.
up. I typically like to go from every 7 days, every week just to see where liquidity is kind of flowing, not only for the meme coins, store of value, and things like that. And if you go to 1 day, it's probably still going to be meme coins with the current
Nice.
market. So store of value, real world assets, interesting. So meme coins are not so much so far. But if we come over here to the left and even click on flows, and we go to ecosystem flows, this is another tool I like to see in terms of liquidity rotation. If you're trying to capture a narrative before it happens, where do you go and how do you capture it? Well, you can see, like, let's just say you had Ethereum. You could see Ethereum 2.5 billion has gone to Arbitrum. That's interesting. I'm not really sure why anyone would want to go to Arbitrum right now, other than for DeFi purposes. Meme
Yeah.
coins on Arb aren't the best opportunities. So if I had to speculate at this current without doing any in-depth research, DeFi most likely. There's tons of great yields on Beefy,
Yeah.
on Arbitrum, Trader Joe's on Arbitrum, things like that. Number two is Base, which completely makes sense. Base is
Yep.
just growing. Base has a ton of meme coins, as John mentioned earlier, as well as DeFi as well. Aerodrome, which is one of the leading decentralized exchanges on Base, which is a Coinbase, a centralized exchange's own blockchain. They haven't launched a token yet, or they're planning not to, again, just yet. But Aerodrome, I mean, Base hasn't launched a token, but Aerodrome has, and Aerodrome's the leading DEX, and it's just been giving out free incentives to users. As I mentioned earlier on the stream, just like Turbos and Cetus were for Sweet, giving away Sweet tokens, Aerodrome's been giving away their own token called Aero, which has just pumped over, I believe, 200% since the bottom in September, or same time around Sweet as well. So you can see why users would be, kind of drawn to Base right now. There's a ton of
Yeah.
opportunities from DeFi and meme coins, as well as real
100%.
assets. They've had a ton of partnerships of blockchains coming, as well as checks. Solana, no brainer there. Everyone wants to capture the pump, and as well as the meme coin pumps on Solana. So you can see why Ethereum to Solana makes sense. Polygon, that certainly gained a traction as well, with Polymarket getting mainstream adoption. Betting market. Ironically, the FBI raided the CEO of
No
Polymarket yesterday.
way.
I don't know if you heard that story
No,
yesterday. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yes. So
I, want-
the
I definitely,
FBI.
I definitely want to hear into that, but I want to see these questions real quick. So Helis said, I'm part of DeFi Masters. I am now considered an LP to deploy some Sol, Bitcoin, ETH. Any thoughts without giving financial advice? And then Reem mentioned, I wonder, will you be able to post a recording of this live? So this recording
Yep.
is live on our YouTube channel. So make sure to go ahead and subscribe, smash the subscribe button at the bottom, turn on post notifications, hit the like button, comment. Definitely does help us out. But yes, you could go ahead and watch all the previous live streams that were made even last week. You could go ahead and catch that you could go over to YouTube. If you subscribe to the channel, you go over to live and you'll be able to see the past recording. So all these calls will be recorded. They are being recorded. These are just live calls that we're having right now. And make sure to go ahead and join our free DeFi community. Become your own bank with decentralized masters down below in the description. But yes, go for it, Shivam. Just wanted to go ahead and get those questions out the way.
Yeah,
I want
no
to hear about
worries.
the
I'm
FBI raid.
actually,
And I definitely want to hear your Sol BTC. If you could give a little bit of alpha on that.
yeah, perfect. In the chat right there, I actually just posted our YouTube channel. You should be able to see it right now in the videos. Speaking in Mandarin or Chinese to you right now. Don't worry, this will all become basic um, conversation to you once you dive deeper into this industry if you ask some of our current members. But going back to this flow, I see we had a question about some LPs about Sol, BTC, and ETH. BTC, I, of course, not financial advice or anything, but I truly wouldn't utilize BTC for DeFi in the current market, especially given the Bitcoin layer 2 scene hasn't exploded with DeFi. The only way to utilize Bitcoin right now is you would have to convert it to wrapped Bitcoin or wrapped ETH or any other asset, then come back, which of course could mean you're selling your Bitcoin for another asset. So I would most likely just hold Bitcoin, even though there are some places where you could just stake it and earn or lend it. I think you're better off just hodling. But in terms of Solana and ETH, Solana for sure has had a ton of great opportunities. One of my favorite ones, quickly I'll go over, it has been a looping strategy, which is a little advanced strategy to come into Jupiter, which is a decentralized exchange on Solana, which allows you to buy and sell assets as well as trade with leverage. But if you come here to earn, you can see that the current JLP pool is offering you 66.59%. And what is
Wow.
the JLP token? The JLP token is essentially an index fund made of Solana, Ethereum, wrapped Bitcoin, USDC, and USDT. I'm also surprised they haven't added PayPal stablecoin Pi USD. I feel like that's only a matter of time. And of course, it takes the traders' profits and losses when they're trading on the platform and 75% of the fees generated. So I would look into this right here, the JLP token. This AM limit they had was only 700 million a month and a half ago. Now it was 900 million last week, and now it's at a billion. And you can see we're well over a billion. So
Wow.
even if we take a look at the JLP token on Dex Screener, real quick before I proceed with this strategy, you can see the weekly chart for the token. So you're currently earning 66% even at $3.90. So I've been in this token since midsummer, right around here, and just accumulating and earning fees generated on JLP. So what can you do with that Sol? You could even come back to from Jupiter. You can go to Camino, which is another decentralized protocol on Solana. It's not a DEX, but it's more of a lending and borrowing market as well as a liquidity manager. So picking up on the strategy with JLP, you could come in here and essentially get into a position with your own JLP token you just purchased and then earn an additional 99%. It just depends on which market you're going to do it in, USDC or Pi USD. And the way Multiply works is essentially you're going to deposit your JLP, and then it's going to open up and borrow depending on the leverage you select here. So if you did a max leverage and you had $10,000, it would be a $32,000 position because you max it at 3.2 multiple. So what Camino is going to do is go back into their own protocol and borrow your DEP token USDC as collateral while you're generating, these fees, right? So you're going to start earning these fees. I just put 1,000 here, which is about 3.89K. So this would essentially be a $3,200 position, or technically more, 3.89 times 3.2. So you can see how your rewards will grow. And if I lower this, your multiplier, your fees will go down. The only main risk, of course, with this, you will have a liquidation value if you're borrowing right here, because you're borrowing collateral gets too high. So this is certainly an advanced strategy. If you're new into crypto or DeFi, you probably want to build up to this. More of the introduction ones for Solana, I would, that are great, that I utilize and, educate others on every single day, would be just a basic pair like this, 57.88% on Solana USDC. And of course, if you take a look at the current Solana price, it's just been ripping up. So, it's insane. Um, um, but you can see that it's 57.88, and the fees in the past 24 hours are 76.98%. There's 1.45 million in this pool, and the 7-day fees are 12.06K just in this pool. So if you're looking for a pretty good pool for your Solana right there, Healiness, this is a real good one. Sol USDC, 57%, and you can just come in here and deposit a single asset, USDC or Sol, and Camino will split them up into this pool for you depending on the asset ratio. As a disclosure, I am in this pool as well as a few others on Camino. It's been a really good pool for the past year since it initially launched. They were well below, 100 million a year ago. Let's take a quick look at their chart if I can get it to load. So again, today is November 14th. They were at 13.75 million. Today, they are at 2.09 billion. That is absolutely crazy. Within a year, they went from literally less than 100 million, less than 15 million, to 2.09 billion. So you can see that users want DeFi. There is utility in earning passive income and using Camino. Especially if you're a working professional, you don't have time to manage your positions every day. Liquidity managing protocols like Camino are going to be your best bet to generating solid passive income and yield, whether that be in stable coins or tokens you want to earn back like Solana. And as the bull market picks up, these tokens are going to appreciate. In terms of ETH, you can do the same thing as well on Beefy Finance. They got a ton of great opportunities for your ETH.
Shabam, also, Keyless has a question regarding he says, according to our training, mixed pools, BCSB is not recommended during trending markets. Your thoughts?
Blue chip stable coins. So again, that just depends on the user, right? Certainly, I'm in both of these positions on Camino because why? Because they manage it on my behalf. So I don't really need to worry about it. Certainly, you could be concerned about not getting into them if you're unable to manage them. But, again, I have the luxury to sit at my desk all day and stare at the chart to make sure that I don't go out of position, and my high positions that are being managed right here, I don't need to worry. Like, let's go back into that. You can see this meme coin pair with Sol, absolutely insane. 99%, 60 million. It's done 1.6 million in fees in the past week. That's crazy. Or TVL. But you can see the range right here, right? If you come to analytics, the strategy is up 12% compared to just holding as well. So even if the market is trending up or down, I don't need to worry. If it ever gets, into a reset range, Camino is going to do that on my behalf. So I think in the training, what we say is that if you're unable to manage it on your own, you certainly want to be careful. Yep, Camino is exactly like Beefy. They're a yield aggregator as well as a liquidity manager. And yeah, the only fee they charge is every time they reset the ranges to prevent impermanent loss. Now, impermanent loss could happen if there's a sudden spike in volatility in the market, as in like, Solana just pumped an insane amount to get to that. If it went above 248, from the current price, if you just had just absolute parabolic movement from 248, then there would be increment loss, because Camino checks, the smart contract checks the code and the prices every 15 minutes. So within the 15 minutes, if it gets the reset range, it will reset the range. But if it even breaches that and above, it mitigates that. So those fees are just essentially for rebalancing. And of course, before you get into any position, you should certainly come into the protocol itself and just do a quick read on how it works. Camino has a really good, documentation right here, as well as you could take a quiz prior to getting in, just to make sure you comprehend everything.
Yeah, I also
yeah,
wanted to I also wanted to add to that, Shivam. So that was a great question about, liquidity pools. Are they good to go ahead and do during bull markets? I think it's, as Shivam mentioned, if you have the luxury to spend more time or you really enjoy crypto, then yes, I would say definitely go ahead and have exposure to both sides. I recommend, having at least, if you want to have some exposure to liquidity pools, be at a 20% out of what you would normally be into. But right now, in my opinion, your main priority should be, if you do not have a bag set up, like meaning you don't have tokens, lock in on looking for those next gems, those altcoins. We talked about those a lot today. Obviously none of this is financial advice, but I would say that should be your main priority. But if you already have your altcoins and the tokens you've been wanting to buy, then yes, now you can go ahead and use a little bit of that extra income that you have now, or maybe a few tokens, use 20-30% of your portfolio into liquidity pools. Obviously, always you want to start off with a very low capital to understand what you're doing. But if you don't understand any of that, go ahead and join our free community. You could actually do some free training that we have down below. We do have to, unfortunately, be wrapping it up right now. Before I go ahead and do the closing, is there anything else, Shivam, you want to go ahead and mention to everybody that joined us here today?
No, other than just a few things, don't get caught up in the prices as they appreciate or there's any pullbacks. One big thing about the bull market is you don't want to FOMO in just because everyone's making money. So you'd want to be well educated and trained. And I think joining, this community, you're going to be surrounded by like-minded people, as well as mentors and analysts like John, myself, as our other team members, to ensure that you're not over leveraging yourself per se. So certainly go ahead and hit the link down below and just see if we're a great fit. But other than that, this industry is going to be a behemoth, and I'm glad we could chat today and cover a few updates from last week.
Yeah, man, I'm definitely looking forward to next week. I appreciate all of you guys coming in. Reem as well. Let's see who else joined us. Reem, Healness, Free Pass 4, share a discount promo, guys. We definitely have to get back with our team and see if we have any discount promos. But yeah, we'll definitely go ahead and talk to them, see what we could do. We appreciate all of you guys tuning in. Make sure to go ahead and share this with all your friends, family. I think we're giving a lot of value here for free. So you definitely do not want to go ahead and miss out, especially during this kind of bull run. I think having a community is very, very important. With that being said, guys, thanks for tuning in this week's episode. I hope all of you are walking away with clear strategies and insights to go ahead and enter the world of DeFi. DeFi is evolving very, very fast, as you see. Like a lot of these blockchains Shivam talked about were not relevant, didn't exist literally last year. So definitely, I hope all of you guys enjoy this content today. If you're ready to go ahead and take in a very deep learning and you want to go ahead and check that out, make sure to check out our free training down below in the description, as I mentioned, where we can go ahead and show you how to strategize and maximize your returns, manage risk, and truly make the most of what DeFi has to offer. Definitely do not want to go ahead and miss out. As I mentioned, you will be seeing myself and Shivam if you do decide to join. We are DeFi analysts here and mentors, and we're not the only ones in the team. We have very, very smart people in the team, and hope all of you could definitely go ahead and meet them as well. With that being said, I hope all of you guys have a great rest of your day. Stay sharp and stay decentralized. Take care, guys.
Later, guys. Bye.